This video is for present, past, and future generations so they understand where we came from and when we came from, Cuba. In 1965, my Uncle Victor came in a boat with his aunt Celia and his uncle Jose Cepero. He was 18 years old. They went to New York, and that's where my aunt and uncle left him all by himself, working his butt off so he could get the rest of his family here, which included my mom and all her sisters and his other two brothers. That was in 1965. In 1970, after he had sponsored us to come to the United States, did all the paperwork and paid all that money, by then he was married to Susana, who was from Mexico, and a very good person because she helped him get us all here, do all the paperwork because he didn't know English. So in March 1970, my parents and I and my sisters and one brother were the first ones to arrive in the United States by plane. They took us to Miami, where we stayed for 2 weeks, and then from Miami they brought us to New York on a train. When I said they, I'm saying the government put us on a plane to our final destination, which was New York, and where my Uncle Victor with his wife picked us up. I remember it was a very snowy day. That was the first time I ever saw snow. The cars were covered with snow. They took us, my Uncle Victor and his wife Susana, took us to their one-bedroom apartment in Rockville Center, New York, where we stayed for a few months, living in a tiny space, all 8 of us, in their living room, which was facing St. Agnes Cathedral Church, a Catholic church. Thanks to Susana, my uncle's wife, I learned how to pray the Our Father and many other prayers. She would take us to church, and she taught us a lot of things. I remember that she used to use the Ivory dish detergent, and we would do the dishes for the house, for everybody, because there was 8 of us plus 2 of them. I don't remember if my cousins were born yet. They had 2 kids, Susanita and Big Tico. Big Tico died when he was 27 years old in a motorcycle accident, but that's a different story. That was a very sad occasion for my uncle. He will never forget his son. But March 1970 is when we came to the United States. I became a United States citizen when I was 19 or 20, right after I got married. my sponsors or my witnesses were my Uncle Victor and my husband Bobby. They went with me when I had the questions asked about the Constitution and who was the mayor and who was the all different things about the country to see if you knew about the country. And I passed, of course. And then we had the ceremony where they give you the United States flag, and then later on they send you the naturalization papers. Both my kids were born after I became a citizen. So from 1970 to 1978, my parents lived in New York. Then they moved to Miami, where I lived until I got married in April 7th, 1979 at St. Brandon's Cathedral in Miami. From there, I went back to New York with my husband, Bobby, and we lived there until 1982, when my daughter was exactly 1 year old. We really wanted to move to Florida, but his mother accused me of making him move to Florida. So just to prove her wrong, we moved to Louisiana, which was an okay experience. And that's where my son was born, Robert. He was born at Truro Infirmary. Jessica was born at South Nassau Community Hospital in Oceanside, New York. Robert was born at Truro Infirmary in New Orleans, Louisiana. And we lived in Louisiana until 1987. In 1987, we moved to Apopka, Florida, and we have lived there since the present. And we'll probably die here. I'm speaking for myself. I don't know what my kids will do. They have their own life, and they can do whatever they want with theirs, just like I did with mine. But it was always looking for what was best for my children. They were number one. I wanted to make sure they went to good schools. They had a nice neighborhood to live in. Everything was always about my children. And now I care and worry about my granddaughter and my great-grandson, Link. I want the best for them, and that's all that matters, nothing else. They're the youngest one, so I would always worry and care about what's going on with them. Jasmine is 25, and Link is going to be 6 September 20th. God has been good to us, and God bless America for letting us come in legally. We went through all the paperwork and all the motions, and we have been law-abiding citizens since we came to the United States. And I'm speaking about my brother and my sisters and myself. And my parents, they worked their butts off to make sure that their kids had what they needed. And everything was always legal, nothing illegal. So God bless America, and God bless those that let us in legally.